Hey, welcome to MAddOG'S After Show. You're along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole. They call me Mr. 75 to 1. Farrell.
It's beginning to look a lot like Dakar.
Yes, it is.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Man, what better way to start 2025 but with MAddOG'S After Show Lap 101.
Wow.
And those inspiring words from the great Mr. Evel Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, and enjoying life.
You know, and we can enjoy life in the sunlight. We can fly through the air because of a very few select amount of people. And that would be the men and women of our armed forces and our first responders. Literally
Absolutely.
Let us do this silly podcast.
Yep, we are so grateful for them. We're grateful for our veterans and eternally grateful to the families of those in our service that gave all, the KIA, MIA. Thank you so much. Man, Lap 101, dude. Here we are. The beginning of 2025. And as you will have seen on our social media, we are just super stoked to welcome a new partner, which we're going to get to in just a minute. But first, we're going to take care of our partners that have looked after us for the 2.5 years we've been doing this crazy madness. Of course, Kicker Performance Audio. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, and every other Tuesday night live on their TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live, on YouTube and Facebook. All your premium audio needs, hit them up. Kicker Performance Audio. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Badass Eyewear, Bomber Mad Dog approved eyewear with over 40 frame styles. Couldn't even count how many lens options in those frames. Everything from ANSI 87 OSHA approved clear, amber lenses, all the way to these iced mirror green boogie bombs with the ANSI 87 OSHA approved safety lens that are polarized. Oh yeah, and they float. Yeah, that's right, folks. Find them online at bombereyewear.com, on Instagram at bombereyewear. And we want to throw out a big, giant welcome to our newest partner and sponsor, Assault Industries, Assault UTV. And man, all their cool stuff, you can find them online, assaultind.com, ASSAULTIND.com, or on Instagram at assaultutv for all your premium aftermarket parts and accessories for your ATVs, your UTVs, your side-by-sides. They've got gear. They've even got some amazing tool sets. I have one. I love it. Man, check them out. Assault Industries, welcome aboard.
Yeehaw.
Of course, the Premix podcast, our man Cole, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera, and also out there and available in 2025 for your event announcer and MC needs. You can find him on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. Slide into his DMs, get him scheduled, or just say, hey, if you're at this race, will you shoot my car? He would love to. Man, great work.
Oh.
You can find him On Instagram, the @ symbol ThePremixPodcast at the Premix Podcast. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, man, just taking all of our video madness, all of our audio madness, and turning it into one polished episode after another. We are so grateful. If you need anything from still work to pre-production, post-production, find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. She's got you handled. Of course, all of our social media templates, our logo work, our business card work, all our stickers. That's right, we have stickers, all done through the incredible, amazing Hey Geeks Marketing. She can also build you a website, maintain your website, build you an Instagram, maintain your Instagram, or fire you up for a full-blown Instagram social media campaign. Yell, Hey Geeks. Or do it the easy way. Find her on the webs, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at heygeeksmarketing. Man, what better way to start with the introduction of our new partner sponsor, Assault Industries, than to have the man himself, Marcelo from Assault Industries. Marcelo, welcome.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm super stoked to be here doing this with you. I've known you for so many years and I've been seeing you at all the events, and to be here face to face with you, I'm loving this. So really excited to be here, and I really appreciate you doing this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're stoked to have you guys on the after show and have you on as a partner. And man, I think I met you the first year you had first started the company, but I want to kind of jumping ahead there. So you are the founder of the brainchild behind Assault UTV and all the incredible Assault products that I've used for years. Where did it start? Like, were you into motorsports before Assault, or did you just get into it and go, oh, I want better mirrors, or like, how did all that come about?
Well, it's a great story. And really, I got to give thanks to my dad that recently passed away. But if it wasn't for him, he started a machine shop, and literally started in the garage of our Huntington Beach home way back in the 80s. And then from there, he grew the machine shop, and then me and my brother started to work at it. We used to work for GT Bicycle. That's what really got us big. We used to do Dropout, anything that was machined, we machined for him. Chain rings,
Wow.
Seat posts, sprockets, and so it's really, really cool. So I learned, really, I was a machinist. I learned just from my dad. I never went to school, kind of just putting parts in the machine. I did go to programming school, so I learned how to program the machines. But we kept growing. And then my brother, who's Alex, he actually ended up starting Pro Armor, which a lot of people don't know that. So
I did not know that.
yeah. So my brother, when we grew, he had a vision. He decided that he wanted to start his own product. So he took off, and I stayed with my dad to help him, because the machine shop was really his retirement. It was his income, and he needed help. So I stuck with him, and then we got Yamaha. So we started working for Yamaha, and that was back in the day when they just started the brand, the GYTR and the Star line. So from there, when my brother left, he was kind of the face of the company. I kind of took over that role, and then I started to work with purchasing agents, quality managers, engineers. So I got to it, and I think all this is what kind of got me to where Assault is, and I'll tell you why I started Assault was, working with these quality managers and engineers and learning how to make parts for them, and I saw how they made it and how important pricing was and how important marketing. So I just learned so much from working with my dad at Innovator Metal Designs. There was a point in my life where my brother was getting ready to sell his company. And that's when I asked him, I go, hey, do you care if I start? I'm going to try to do this on my own. I just bought a XP 900 Polaris. So I was like, and I was like, the first thing I said was like, this thing, I need mirrors. And like, there was nothing out there. It was all junk. And I said, you know what? I could easily make a better mirror. And then I started looking at the car, the XP 900. And I'm like, oh, the radius rods are always bending. The tie rods bend. So that's where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start this. I had Manuel. I had
Yep.
him, Manuel Soto. He helped me a lot. I gave him partnership in the company. I said, hey, let's go do this. And we really just from the experience I had from the car I got to experience, I just fell in love with the Polaris Razor. And the crazy thing is that no one knew is I used to do all the stuff for the Rhinos back in the day for Yamaha.
Oh,
So
wow.
I did have some experience back then with the Rhinos, and obviously I had one of those. And but yeah, so when my brother was getting ready to sell his company, I just said, hey, it's my turn. If he could do this, I could do it. I've been off-roading. Started off with the Banshees and then Raptors. So it was in my blood. It was something I loved. I knew machining, and I just bootstrapped this company, and really start looking at the car. And me and Manuel would sit there and go, oh, dude, this is what I'm thinking about a mirror. And then give him ideas. He would draw it up on SolidWorks, and that's how we started Assault Industries. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's 2013 is when we started, Lauren. And I do remember the first time I met you. I always thought you were the owner of MAddOG'S Exhaust.
I used to get that a lot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this guy must be the owner. And man, you were just always so friendly from the day one. And yeah, I've known you and I've seen you, and we took hundreds of selfies. And so,
Yes.
anyways, going back to 2013. So it's been a long, long time, and a lot of products that we developed, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, and you've done a great job of maintaining being in the forefront of the industry also. And I think we met, it was Rally on the Rocks 2013 in Moab, if I remember right. And man, you were so enthusiastic, and I wasn't quite sure. I'm like, man, who is this guy? It's like, what's he doing? He's got all these parts. And then we got looking at him, and I'm like, we got talking, and I'm like, you know what? This is pretty cool. There's some really cool stuff. And, I think almost every custom build I've done for either Muzzies or SSV or Kicker, you've supported us with, and we've run your product, even on some of my own personal stuff, so it's, and I haven't had any problems. So you're doing something right for sure.
Well, first of all, I appreciate all the support, Lauren. But I can't take all the credit. I learned all that from all the quality stuff that Yamaha did, that Honda, all the manufacturing. I mean, when we make a product and manufacture and design it, I mean, I looked at everything in the design, everything of the parts. So, and there was a feature, like our bomber mirrors. I mean, no one used to make them module like I did with the replacement glass and the really low profile clamps you could run. I mean, I thought of everything, or I try to think of everything. If I didn't, then there's always Rev 2, Rev 3, Rev 4.
Yeah.
But, that's what was fun, Lauren. It's like, and I love hearing stories and like people like you that I don't think we've ever had a return on one of our mirrors because we designed them to fold in. We designed them to never break. I can't tell you how many times I've been at Moab and rolled it over and we popped it back up and our mirrors are, they're kicked in, but they're great, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I appreciate that, Lauren. And we're always going to support you guys. And yeah, I love you, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Love you too, brother. And man, it's, the progression of the, especially side-by-side UTV market whether it's, the Razor or now all these other vehicles in the sport market, if you will. I mean, you talk about rhinos, and that's about the time I started working with Rob, was right before the release of the Razor 800. And we joke around, we've been in the industry since rhinos and Terexes were cool, right?
I know. And how much fun were those rhinos? I mean,
Yeah.
it was just, floor to the, pedal to the metal and no gas ever.
No, you had to drive it on the floor all the time just to keep it moving. But yeah, now, you see the progression of the sport, and now you have what I call like the crossovers. You used to have the Rhino, the Terex, Kawasaki had the Mule, also, and Polaris had, their what were those?
Rangers.
Rangers,
Yep.
and then you had this whole sport line starting to develop. And with the Razor 800, the launch of the Razor 800, and then the XP 900, and, the continuous growth. And now you have these ones like the General, the Expedition, the Kawasaki just released the Ridge, and they're freaking sport luxury UTV has more horsepower than their sport UTV right now. Probably temporary from what I'm hearing, but nonetheless, like, you've been able to keep the company going and develop products. I mean, if people go to your website at assaultand.com, you will not believe the list of manufacturers that you make product for. That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of work.
It is. And I think that's when it got really, really difficult for me, when everybody started coming out with machines and changing. And all of a sudden, just one engineer wasn't enough for me. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, now there's a General, and then there's an XP General, and, X3, and then Can-Am, and RCR or God, I can't even remember. But right now, this industry is so impressive. I love what Polaris was able to do to get us to where we're at today, because there's a flavor for everyone. If you want to go rock climbing, you buy this machine. If you want to go fast in desert, you buy that machine. And the new stuff that's coming out, it's scary fast. You got the MAV-R, and then the XP Pro R. Polaris. I mean, it is crazy, 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 but it's exciting, and it keeps us, keeps us making more parts, and keeps us growing. So it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you just touched on it just a hair there, but also the manufacturers in the UTV and side-by-side industry, for the longest time, there was no sport Yamaha, there was no sport Kawasaki. And now, the Yamaha has their YXE, which, just a sidebar, kudos to you for surviving through the working with the GYTR program, because I know that's a whole another level on its own that most people would not understand at all. But there's a lot of facets of that program. Having been involved with it on the Muzzy side, I would say towards 08, 09, as things were wrapping up, as the contract, the Yamaha stuff was wrapping up, I was involved with the program, and there's a lot of facets, a lot of boxes to check. That it's working with factory engineers sometimes, is, yeah. I just kudos to you. It's a big thing.
Well, I appreciate that, Lori, because yeah, I mean, it's a whole another can of worms. I mean, it's the hardest business to do to work for an OEM. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's not just 10 boxes, there's 1,000. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
compliance, if it's ISO certification, if it's, price reduction, yeah, everything. But again, that's what makes Assault different than anybody else is we've experienced it, we've done it, we've learned it. And now with Super, I mean, oh my God, they just took it to a completely different level. So
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
but no, I didn't even know that you were part of that whole GYTR. So you guys
Yeah.
sold the exhaust to them.
Yeah, we did the exhaust. I think it was probably mostly the quads and bikes. But it was, the program was wrapping down, probably 08-ish. It was 08, 09. The very last of the product went out, but it was a nonstop battle on the manufacturing side because and just for people like, you'll laugh at this because you get it. For people that don't understand this or going, what in the hell is he talking about? Like, we would get specs and they'd say, we want an exhaust built this way. And you'd look at it and go, well, okay, but it's not going to work, not going to achieve the goals you want. Well, this is the way it has to be built. Our engineers say it will. Okay, all right. So you build it, and it fits perfect on a pre-production machine, and indeed didn't make horsepower, and they're like, oh well, you know, what did you do? And it's like, we didn't do anything. Like,
You do what you told us.
yeah, here's the way to do it to make horsepower. And a lot of times it was just about looking pretty and, you know, on our side. And there were some frustrating times because then you get a production unit and guess what? Doesn't fit anymore because they changed an oil cooler line or, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
so you understand that, but most people wouldn't understand, here you have 100 articles for prove out. And when the production equipment comes out, they forgot to tell you they changed this and it doesn't fit.
Well, we struggle, and I know exactly what you're talking about because yeah, we had to help them with, which is fine. We had to help them like, nope, we should do it this way. Hey, if we design it this way, we can bring down cost. We can make lower by half an inch. We could buy smaller material. So all that came into play. But the funny thing is, just hearing you talk about this is that, I mean, we had the same problem with Assault just because all of a sudden we're doing a part for the X3 for, let's just say a 2014. And then they come out with a smart shocker and all of a sudden they have like different hardware. And then we got customers going, hey, something's hitting. And we're like, oh my God. So, that we're so quick to react. And, so that's what makes manufacturing so unique. And you've really got to know what you're doing and stay on top of things because it can get really ugly really quick like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And kudos to you, being in another small side, like when I was with Muzzies, it's like you're saying things could change so quick, but with you being hands-on right there, you were able to adjust as faster than anybody else could for sure. We were in the same boat a lot, and it's funny because the first Mavericks were that way because there's just some stories. I won't go into them right now, but there's some stuff where things weren't square and what fit perfect on 70% of the models didn't fit 30% of the other models. Same car, so
right.
it's
yeah. But
the key is you were so involved in the industry. I think the point I was making was you were so involved in the industry, so hands-on with the company and all things in the industry, you were able to adapt super quick.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we were. I think we're the leaders out there. We've got the most parts, and we're going to continue to come out. And again, you're right. That's what we're good at, is just reacting, getting parts out, and just doing it right the first time. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. And it's funny because you started with that 13 XP900, and man,
I love that car, by the way. It was a great, fun car. I mean, it was nimble. It was tiny. It just wasn't scary, scary fast, and it was just like the perfect package.
that was honestly, in my opinion, I've driven a lot of them, and that's probably in my top maybe 4 of all side by sides that I've ever driven.
I haven't driven the new MAV-R, which I would love to get my hands on one of those, or even the Pro R. I'm still driving my XP pre-production that Polaris got me, and I mean, that's such a great platform, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's done so many great. I mean, that you can see it in the background. It's gone through some facelifts, gone on some great trails with Kane, Smead, and with so many people.
Yeah.
But those new machines are just monsters. They're
Oh
monsters.
yeah. I have driven let me see, I haven't driven the new MAV-R. I have driven the Pro R, and pretty incredibly impressive, but back in the days of early innovation, where you were cutting product for all this stuff and coming out with things that nobody else had, really. um, we were on the other side. I was still with Muzzies, and we were on the other side doing stuff like the 900 with our 995 engine kit that was just stupid for that car as far as horsepower. But it was a fun car.
Yeah, no, like I said, I loved it. I really did.
Yeah. So you've been one thing that we touched on just a bit ago, and all the models of side by sides and utility side by sides and what I call crossovers. When Polaris released the General, I got to go on a press release ride in the very first ones, and we were actually up in Oregon, and I rode one in the dunes, and I didn't expect much, and I surprised myself. I'm like, this is actually a pretty good car. But to that effect, as far as I know, you're the only person I know for sure, at least I know personally, to have raced a General in Baja, Mexican 1000, and finished. You and Manuel, right?
Yeah, yeah. That machine is the workhorse of all UTVs. And we prepped that thing, and yeah, we made it. We did have one incident that we broke a tie rod, but that's because another racer came jamming, trying to cut me off, and just literally just hit me. And
Oh,
if it wasn't for that, we would have made it the whole thing without having to stop. We were running first or second in that thing in the unlimited class, because I had the HCR long travel on there.
yeah.
I had Walker Evans shocks. We had that thing. We actually even changed the transmission and put a regular Razor 1000 transmission on there, just so we could get the speed up. And we were doing about 660, 65, I think, on the flats. But it was so much fun, Lauren. That I still have that. I still have that UTV. I still have it. I still use it. I still launch it. The suspension through the whoops was phenomenal for what it was. But yeah, no, it was a great experience, and I'm trying to get Dawn to go do it with me again, and I would love
Oh,
to do
that'd be
that.
rad.
Yeah, no, maybe I'll do it again in the general.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, let's
that'd
go.
be
You can
sick.
sit shotgun with me. Let's do it. That would be so fun.
That would be fun. That would be
Yeah.
fun. Have to keep me. Yeah, that would be a great time. We get if we had two of them, Cole and I could tag along.
Well,
But
I've got a general. And we take the other XP.
I've always wanted to do. Actually, I'm pretty jealous because the Mexican 1000 is on my bucket list. Everybody's like, "Oh, don't you want to do the Baja 1000?" I'm like, "No, I have dozens of friends who have done the Baja 1000, and I have no desire to do the Baja 1000." Especially now because with the new cars, the speeds and everything. But take us through that, the Mexican 1000, because I've read some articles about your trip and watched some social media about it, and that was a while ago. But take us through it because that that was a really cool moment for me to watch you do that.
So I've raced. I used to race quads, back in the day, and always wanted to race. But, being so busy with work, it just didn't, time never allowed it to do
Yeah,
this. And then growing up and knowing about the Baja 1000, always wanted to do that. I was like, oh, that would be great. But again, that's a tough race. But doing the Nora, the way they have it set up, if you're any type of rider and you love to ride, this is one of the best races put on. It's so organized. We drove into Ensenada, got a hotel there. We were able to get some great tacos, meet up with all of our friends over at Rugged. Greg's
yeah,
always out there, both Steves. You get to mingle with your fellow racers and friends. And then the way this race is set up, which is so awesome, is that there's segments of the full 1000, which actually was even more than 1,000. I think we did 1,100 and something. But so we did, day one, it was Ensenada to Bay of LA. And then once you get there, one day might be 2 or 3 hours of driving, or, other days were 5 to 6 hours. But
right.
once you get to those destinations, it's timed. And then once you finish it, right when you go through the finish line, there's a guy sitting there, or a girl actually, with a beer in their hand. And then you go straight to a restaurant where they give you tacos, and there's a party and there's music. You get to go over your car and change, whatever. Change your air pressure, your belts, and clean up, shower, and then get a nice rest. And then you do it all over. And the scenery is just phenomenal. Like, I mean, I just can't. I mean, going through these little towns and all these kids running, and we brought stickers and candy, so we're throwing them out, and the kids love it, and all the
Yeah,
people, all the support. I'm getting goosebumps because like I want to do it again, but and then and then you get to that next town. We did
yeah,
Beverly, we did oh my god, I'm having a brain freeze right now. Uh, God. Anyways, we did a lot. There's like 5 or 6 towns, and it takes all week to get down there. So it took us like 5 days.
yeah,
La Paz was one of them. And then, but yeah, every day, and then there's checkpoints. So it's like, and you're racing. I mean, we're passing people. People are passing us. People are broken down on the side. And then you get the guys that are in the like Suburbans, and everybody's just sitting
right.
there, and the driver's not drinking, but everyone in the back is, the cooler, and they're all having fun, and it's cool. There's a little bit for everyone. Some people are there just to cruise and make it. We wanted to try to finish. We wanted to really finish without breaking down and prove that this general was worth every penny, and it's just as good as a sports UTV. And we did it. We only
Yeah,
broke down again because someone crashed into us. But if you ever want to do a race, any type of race, a fun race that's easy to do, the Nora 1000 or even the 500, which is, I think it's only maybe a 2 or 3 day,
yeah.
is definitely worth doing, Lauren. The food, the
That's
people, and wait, sorry, the
oh
last
no,
thing.
go ahead.
Then you arrive in Cabo San Lucas. That's the finish line. San Jose or Cabo, and then you're there for a couple of days, and it's a big party. And oh god, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I'll never forget. Manuel was like, he helped me. He navigated. I wanted to drive the whole way. That was my thing. Was like, hey, I want to drive these full 1,000 miles. But we both had fun. He was really good at navigating, getting the cars all set up to do this, and yeah, we kicked some butt and had some fun.
That's yeah, I remember following all the social media, and it just looked like so much fun. And I personally have been a huge fan of the Nora 1000 or Mexican 1000, whatever you want to call it, um, for a long time. And I've had a lot of friends that have participated, yourself including, and they're always going, "Man, you got to do it. It's on my bucket list for sure." Um, One of these days, I mean, I'm on their email mailing list, so I'm always getting the updates. I'm always uh, studying, help, if they need, financial assistance somewhere. If I have a little extra scrub, I'll send it off, or whatever. But it's definitely on my bucket list. And Cole and I, at some point, would really like to do it on a sidecar.
Ooh. Oh wow, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really neat, but I don't know now with his fresh titanium in his back if we'll be able to pull that off. So we're looking at some other arrive and drive type options for maybe a little desert thing to do with the after show. Um, and some options like that. But I'm seriously jealous that you got to do it because it does look like such a great time. And it's like 200 or 300 miles a day for 5 days, right?
Right.
Basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. There was one day that was a pretty long day, but it was worth it. The scenery, you'd go from cactus farms. You're going through them, cactuses just 6, 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. And then you come around a corner and then beautiful ocean, just beautiful blue
Wow.
water, turquoise water. Yeah. And then like I said, yeah, it's something I'll always remember. I've got a couple of articles that were written on that I've got on plackets on my house, and just for memories, because yeah, it's always going to be embedded in my brain there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Neat. You would think now, I mean, you maybe have a little more time. Maybe you could get away and do it again. And
Yeah,
if you took Dawn with you, I mean, uh, it seems like that would be a business trip to me.
no, yeah, it'd be a great marketing. You're right. I mean, this would be the perfect time for, and that's my goal. My role is to continue to grow the brand and brand awareness, and prove the parts. And what better way to prove our parts is just, hey, rate, race proven, race tested,
Absolutely.
1,000 miles of Baja, and yeah. So I don't know. Right now obviously the registration started January 1st. So
Yep.
there's time. There's time. So
I
if you
got
guys are
that
listening,
email.
I'm ready to go. Let's go, Polaris. Send me a card. Let's do it in an expedition with AC and a heater.
That would be funny.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it. So
dude.
yeah,
But
it would be fun.
it's yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like, did you ever think in 13 when you said, we need better mirrors, from what you're saying is how it started.
Yeah, I never ever look at when I started this, Lauren. It was just one of those things. I'm like, hey, I just want to make some extra parts. I just need some extra cash. It'd be fun to, if I could, just whatever, make an extra $1,000 a month. I'd be like, yes, this would be great.
Right.
And yeah, I remember, one of the events the very first event that we went to was actually Sands Sports Show, and I'm sure Fred. I mean, he was with Pro Armor with my brother. He's with Icon Suspension now. He invited me. He goes, "Hey, take part of Pro Armor's booth." He goes, "Like your brother's not going to mind, and just put your little 10x10 assault like in their booth." So I mean,
Wow.
yeah, but they never made mirrors. And they didn't make radius rods. They made
Right.
doors, and we really weren't competing. And this is a crazy thing. I just came out with the name Assault Industries, which I love it. I've always loved it, but back in the day, right when I came out with it and got the trademark, all these shootings started happening. I think it was a Sandy Hook was the first one, assault rifles and assault this, and I was like, oh my god, this is just gonna kill the name, right? It's
Right.
just, I mean, like people are not gonna, it's not gonna go well. But our industry, we all love guns. We all love the Wild West. We love our
Yeah.
military. And I'll be honest with you, when I came out with Assault, it was like assaulting all terrains. That was my
Right.
slogan. Like, hey, my goal was to, assault the sand, assault the dirt, assault the rocks, assault the snow one day, assault the water. That was the name. I mean, the meaning behind assault. It's not, hey, I don't condone assaulting anybody, and the name doesn't say that. And then the other thing the reason I did assault was I was really military proud. I mean, I love our military. Right. I stand 100% behind them. And if you look at all our products, it's all, B-52 bomber mirrors,
Right.
F-16 stealth grill. I mean, everything everything I named was behind our military, either a vehicle, a missile, an aircraft, a boat. And I try to really, the stealth mirrors are stealthy, and that's why I gave it the stealth name. And I used to lay in bed and be like, what am I going to call this? And, it's like the Nighthawk, our Nighthawks that we had a great partnership with Baja Designs. I mean, it's what better, there's a Nighthawk helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got, we got this, or the Nighthawk goggles, that's what they were. So I was like, hey, this makes us see at night. And so I really tried to put the name with the product and match it up, not just because it sounded good, but hey, I looked at what these vehicles did, and if it was tough and our parts were tough, it's like, hey, that's a perfect name for it. But yeah, I can't, going back to your statement there, is like, I look back, I go, I just can't believe that we went from just making radius rods, because we were the first ones to make the aluminum barrel hexagon, really, that everyone was laughing at me going, dude, those aren't going to hold up. Those are going to bend. And, and now that's the standard. But then we start coming out with spare tires that no one had, with the little gas shocks, automotives. We designed that. We invented that. Now there's, obviously there's competition, and great.
Sure.
But we were the first for so many things, the module mirrors, the spare tire racks, we did, everything we did, we had a function to it. It wasn't just to make it look pretty. And we did have some bolt-on simple parts that, cosmetics, just because people love to customize their cars. Nobody wants to
trinkets.
car. Yeah. And we were good at that. And, we had the best steering wheels out there, and we would have the D shape. Then we had sway. We went bigger. And I mean, we just try to supply products for everyone, not just for one person, and say, well, that's all you have. No, hey, guess what? You could get them in red. You could do it in blue. You know what you want? Well, you could even pull it apart and customize it with powder coat purple, which I think you've done some cool stuff with your.
We have done some cool stuff, and most recently on the kicker builds, the 3 kicker builds I've done, the Kawasaki, we pulled all the assault parts, pulled all the trim rings, and had them powder coated to match the lime green, which it was crazy at the time because kicker was pretty hardcore in black and red or black and yellow.
Right.
And so when I came up with the concept for the KRX build, color-wise, I'm like, we should stay with the green. Well, then Jeremy, J-Dub over at Kicker was like, hey, sends me one day this concept from Rod over at Gator Wraps and is like, hey, what do you think of this? And I'm like, oh, dude, yeah. And it's all lime green, and then you hooked us up with all the accessories, and we had everything powder coated to match the original lime green and the wrap, and to the point where they built the fab team, Skunkworks, if you will, over there, built a subwoofer box that takes up the entire bed. It's got 2 12-inch subwoofers in it, and they actually tinted. It's Rhino lined or similar, since Rhino lining is a brand name. No endorsement there. I don't know what brand it is, but it's got bed liner on the outside of it. And they actually custom tinted it to match the accessories in the car. So, you know, it's such, and that's something you're right. You couldn't get when you started, like with the Bomber mirrors, even you couldn't get custom colored accessories. You couldn't even get really colored accessories. You had crappy black anodization that turned gold in a year, or, you know, good black anodized. That's it. Those are your options, right? And all the mirrors were round, and all the clamps were substantially large.
Right. I know. I know. That's one thing I was really, really proud of. And you know what? The funny thing is, I remember, so I made this clamp, and there's only, you know, you would only think there's only one way to make a clamp, right?
Right.
Bolt on one side and bolt on another, you put it together. And I made this clamp that was really similar. I mean, you know, it looked similar to Johnny's. You know, I don't even remember the name of his brand, but and I remember him coming over, going, "Hey, you copied our clamp." I go, "Well, there's only one way to make a clamp." It's like, and he was all upset, and I said, "Look, I never copy your clamp, but you know what? Hey, that's I don't want to be known as a copier." So I'll go back and I'll redesign it. You know what? We only had like 20 mirrors. This was like day one. This was at Salesforce show. And so he got really mad, and I respected him. And I said, hey, and you know, we shake hands now. And I haven't seen him in a long, long time. But he was the one that forced me, and not forced me, I don't want to say it in a mean way, but forced myself to say, hey, we don't want to be that guy that looks like everybody else. We don't want to copy people. I know what I want. I know what I can do. And I know that our design is whatever we design is going to be our design. And so that's how I came up with that clamp that nobody had. And we're like, hey, what can we do to make this clamp different? And that's, you know, that's when me and Manuel sat down. We're like, hey, you know, a lot of people wanted to use these windshields, remember? And we just came up with something. We made it. We actually made it in on my CNC machine without extruding it, and we tested it, and we're like, oh, it was like the best clamp ever. I mean, it was strong and functional, and then we got an extrusion made, so we made it really inexpensive. But you know what? Stuff like that was, I mean, that's what I learned. And it was UTV Inc., I think they were called. But it was him that actually from day one, he told me, he goes, hey, you know, just make your own stuff or design. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. And since that day, we designed our own stuff. We made our own stuff. We, you know, and we were the leaders, and we are still the leaders, and we're going to continue to kick some butt. I'll keep it clean, and it pumps me up, Lauren. I mean, this is when I get excited because I love designing. I love manufacturing. I love coming up with ideas. So I love the challenge. And there's all these new cars, so it's just going to get better and better for us, and more exciting.
Well, yeah, and you really have stayed like up in that forefront with the branding. Your marketing obviously is really good, but the product marketing only goes so far if the product's crappy, right? So, like, I can think of, you know, a couple of now defunct energy drinks that had great marketing, but their product tasted awful. Well, they're not around anymore, right? So, innovation has been a big part of keeping you in the forefront for sure. Just different ways to do things and different ideas. We were talking about this. I mentioned it in the opening comments, but we were talking about it before we started recording. And that toolkit that you put together, the rolled up toolkit, I'm telling you, that thing has saved me more times, and I keep it rolled up and strapped up in the four-seater, I keep it strapped to the center bar
Oh, that's a great idea.
between the seatbelts. It just hangs there to the point where often I forget about it, and I'll be like, oh man, I can't believe, where's my 18? I don't have an 18, or I don't have some random Torx. And I'm like, I've got that assault tool bag. Let me get that thing out. And man, there again, just innovation. You can put it wherever you want, but where I chose to put it in the kicker razor, it's like, I mean, it doesn't interfere with anything. It hangs there perfectly. And it's got about I swear I could probably strip that car down to bare frame with what's in that. And you were doing that before anybody. There's a lot of companies that have jumped on that bandwagon. But you were really doing that before anybody was, if I remember right.
Yep. No, and you're right about the word. I mean, the crazy thing is, I was always that one guy that never carried tools. Like if I broke down, I was like, hey, Alex, do you have a? Can I borrow your screwdriver? Hey, Alex, or you guys, anybody have a flat, whatever. So now that I have this, the crazy thing is I use it in my house because you don't have to take all the. You just bring that bag, you unroll it, and you got everything there. And then if you put it back because there's a slot missing, the tool's missing. So the tools are always there. I add a flat kit, the little the plugs in there. I've got my belt tool in there. I got the cool thing is that when you can roll it up, there's still room to throw some other stuff.
Oh yeah.
And mine fits on my XP right behind my my passenger side, right behind the door, and it just sits right there. And it's so I got one there. I've got one in my house. I got one in my truck. They're awesome. They've saved me, and it makes it so easy to work on your car because you can lay it out on the ground. You throw the nuts and bolts on top of it so they never get instead of throwing on top of a tire or in the sand. It's like so. And they're good quality tools. They're good. Yeah, they're great quality tools. So I was proud of that one.
For those of you who own I can't remember what gym we call it, but like 07. So I think it's the I want to say 05 to 9 or something, Dodge Ram. When you need that obscure Torx to adjust your headlights, that kit has it.
That's good to know. I don't have a Dodge, but that's good to know.
The Torx set I bought off of Amazon did not have it. And I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have that kit. Why didn't I look there first? Sure enough, had exactly what I needed. So, but that kind of innovation and thought process, forward thinking, if you will, is how you started your brand, but how you launched the brand, how you've maintained the brand, and how you're continuing with the brand, even with Super ATV bought the brand out, I guess you'd say, right?
Yep.
And you're still in charge of the brand, so people don't worry about that. You still got Marcelo's face right there wherever you need it, and development and stuff like that. But you're still developing forward-thinking products.
Yeah. No, my role with them is I do have a lot, and I don't mind it. I love it, to be honest with you. I want to be hands-on with them. With their engineers, I work directly with them. We're working on some new mirrors, I don't know. There's a lot of things I really probably can't tell you what's coming out or not, but
that's fine.
yeah, but we've got, I want to say at least hundreds of products that are, if they're not on machines right now, they're on the list of parts to be made. A lot of things that people don't know is that Super, and I didn't know it. I'm so glad they invited us, because when they were looking at purchasing us, they said, hey, why don't you come out, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
And I looked at where it was. I was like, ooh, the Bourbon Trail, Jack Daniels is there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, as long as we can make a trip out of it. I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's keep our opportunities open, our minds open. And Lindsay and her team, oh man, I get teary-eyed because it's kind of hard. This is still my baby, but she
Sure.
invited me out there and I said, hey, you will go. And so anyways, long story short, we get to Louisville and, we went to a couple bourbon houses and then we go to, Super ATV, which we pull up and I'm like, oh man, this is a pretty good sized building. I'm thinking Super ATV is tiny, nothing really crazy. And when I get there and we go in and then we see the history of how they started. And what really I love was that it was the family start. It was a family business. The dad, Harold, started it. Then Lindsay got involved, and again, brain freezing again. But and then I got to go meet the engineering. I walk into this room, and there was like 30 engineers in one room, all these computers, and then they take me to the engineering room and R&D room, and they've got like little car lifts, and it looks like a NASCAR garage, and all these cars on lifts, and guys putting parts on it, and I was just like, I was so impressed, Lauren, that I said, you know what, this is the company that's going to take my brand and elevate it to where I've always wanted it to be, and I was so in awe with, and then they had a racetrack and then they took me out shooting and then they took me out to all this land. So I really fell in love with them. And I had other offers on the table. But Lindsay and, in the family and Super ATV, I saw the manufacturing and the opportunities and and I sold in 2022. And going back, God, sorry, I just completely went far left. But my role there is, Lauren, to keep the brand going, to keep the innovation going, and I work with the engineers, keep the marketing going. I go out, I still ride. I'm going on a magazine shoot on Monday with Kane, overnighter. I love it. I love it. As long as they keep me, I'll keep fighting for the brand and keep growing it. It's going to be one of the best off-road brands in history. That's my goal. That's what I want my legacy to be, is that this brand is one of the best off-road brands that anyone could buy.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track for sure. You're definitely pushing the envelope, and with the additional engineering abilities and manufacturing abilities over and above, and quantity over and above what you had to begin with. I mean, it's pretty unstoppable. And, you've got the coolest bullet-shaped logo also. I just thought I'd bring that up because we've talked about shooting a little bit. So, it's that's something that's always, I'm like, I wonder if it intentionally kind of looks like a bullet or something like that. But
No, I never. That's the first time I've heard that, Lauren. What it really is, it's an A,
right.
More in a diamond, so
Yep.
high quality, and then it's pieced together because it's like a puzzle piece. Like, hey, we're engineering. It has a lot of meaning. But I never looked at it as a bullet. But I guess if you put it sideways, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Matches
no,
assault. I like it. It's a
yeah,
perfect
no,
fit. So,
yeah.
but yeah, man, you have had, I know we're pushing up on time here. I don't want to keep you too long, but you've had, really some great experiences. You have a great product. You're continuing to develop and brainstorm new great products. What, like, do you have a favorite place to ride?
And I've been all over. I've actually literally been all over the world. Dubai. I've been to,
Yeah.
I've really been everywhere. And Mexico, God, you know what? I want to say some of the writing I've done with Kane from High Torque Magazine, UTV writer, and he's taken me on some of the best trails And I would say that, you know, some of the stuff here in my backyard in the desert, you know, it's kind of I just like I like speed. I like pushing these machines to the limit. That's my type of riding.
Yeah.
But for beauty, Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beauty's Utah, Oregon with the pine trees on the ocean. Glamis, if you know, there's beauty in the sand.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
especially on a Monday or Tuesday when there's no one out there on a photo shoot
Yeah.
day. After a really heavy windstorm. What other places? I mean, Madison has some great backcountry stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so that's what's great again about our sports is that you know what, you could go fishing, go through some rivers, creeks. You know, you can go out in the desert and find, you know, desert tortoise and beautiful cactuses. We're going to the mountains. Look at the background
Yeah.
of my, you know, that's right here in the desert, you know, and yeah,
Looks like out by Johnson Valley or something.
yeah, it's actually you know, it's a secret spot of Kane's, so I can't tell you where
Okay.
it's at, but
You know,
he's doing all these rides now and stuff, and I love Kane. He's been one of our great supporters as well, and he's taken me some of these spots where you just come around a corner and then you're like, boom,
yeah.
beautiful mountains of snow, or yeah,
He keeps
quite.
he keeps bugging me to get out on one of his rides, and we haven't been able to match schedule. But I actually saw him like 3 weeks ago in Boise. When I was at the Kicker Arena Cross race, he came out both nights. So we're able to hang out. And I was actually texting him New Year's Eve and I don't know if it's common knowledge of Kane that we're talking about has been in the industry forever. You can find him on Instagram at Kane's Appetite for Adventure, I think it is. And he does all kinds of guided rides and incredible tours all over the place. He's got a whole slew of them coming up in 2025. And I don't know if it's common knowledge or if I should even say, but he's going to launch some two-wheel rides.
Cool.
And so I was texting him. I was for a couple hours. New Year's Eve, we were at one of my wife's gym friends, and he's a retired gentleman, but he loves dual sport and adventure bike riding. And he was asking me if I knew anybody, and I'm like, I think Kane's going to start doing some. So I texted him, and he goes, yeah, I'm going to start doing some in 25. And I'm like, oh, rad. Well, I got to hook you up with Larry then. So
No, he's one thing I can say about this, if I could chip in here, Lauren, is
yeah,
that
for
every
sure.
ride that I've done with him has been the best adventure. I mean, him and his son will go weeks or months or years before and do, you know, the planning and get all the GPS
Yep.
tracks. And then we get on this, and he's like, "Oh no!" And he has it all planned. And we're going through these really old towns and Randsburg and here and there, and then looking through you know, just all these historical monuments too along the way, and old railroad tracks that you would never see while you're going down, you know, the highway. It's just really cool stuff. He's a great guy. But yeah, and another reason
Yeah.
to be in this industry is just to go out and explore and be in an assaulted out UTV that will get you there and get you back.
Yes, and get you back without breakdowns.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't read that. I didn't say that right. So just as a sidebar, Kane's Instagram is Kane CAINS Appetite, the number 4 adventure. So yeah, and you can find him on Instagram. He's a great guy. Puts on a bunch of great rides. You can find Marcelo and his incredible products at assaultind.com and check them out. I encourage you to take a look because you will not believe everything from tools and apparel to lights, fire extinguisher mounts, and of course, incredible mirrors, accessories, and even little And one of the, if not the most comfortable off-road D steering wheel I have ever driven with. Check them out for sure. So that was my plug. Sorry, but we should really start wrapping up. Time flies, man. When you're
Yeah,
just
I
sitting
know. Yeah, here I was
BSing.
being worried.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know you're stressed, but you were talking about being different and doing things your way, and I really respect that. That's something that Cole and I have really taken to heart when we started this podcast now 101 laps ago, or 101 episodes if you're a conventional thinker. We call them laps, but you know, we said we just don't want it to be like anybody else's. Like, we've all been on podcasts, and I was like, I just want to do it different. And it's like you said, if people didn't like what you did, they wouldn't buy it or whatever. But obviously they like what you do, because man, they just keep buying them. And we're the same way. I'm guilty of saying, hey, if you don't like what I say, don't follow me. But we take having fun seriously on this podcast, and you never know where we're going to end up. I mean, dude, we went from Banshees and 450s to racing a Polaris General in the Nora Mexican 1000, and damn close to winning it, actually, which is pretty damn impressive. So, but yeah, as we kind of get close to wrapping up, what do you got? You got special thanks and shout outs, obviously. Huge respect and shout out. I was fortunate enough to meet your dad, and he kind of got you started in all this and was a driving force, and respect and just admiration for him. And of course, our condolences on the loss for sure. But you have to have some incredible memories of him, firing you off and pushing you. And I think where the brand is now is a real testament to where you started and what you guys have done.
I appreciate that, Lauren. Yeah, no, I mean, God, the list of, obviously I want to thank you guys for the opportunity here for this, and being able to tell, the world what Assault's is about, what I'm doing now. But everybody in the industry, our customers, I mean, that's our number one, a person that I want to say thanks to is that everybody that's trusted me, everyone that's trusted Assault, the name. I really, really want to say thank you to you guys. All the OEMs for just innovating, the Polarises, the Yamahas, the Can-Ams, everybody is just that, without their cars, we wouldn't be able to make parts, and we wouldn't be able to get out and explore and do the things we love. And I made so many great friends. I mean, you guys are one of them. The team's over. I mean, there's so many people in the wheel manufacturers, tires, rugged radios, all those guys, and everybody.
Yeah.
It's even our competitors. I mean, I'm friends with everybody. Everybody, I don't really have a mean bone in my body, and I really, there's competition, and it is what it is, and you can't be mad at the world and bitter, because life is way too short. So yeah, no, look at I thank everybody for putting me here where I'm at. I wouldn't be here by myself. So really, I appreciate all you guys, everybody that's watching, and hopefully there'll be an Assault Army soldier and supporting us forever. And yeah, we'll just keep making good products and keep on riding, keep on exploring.
Yeah, awesome. And on a quick sidebar, you mentioned the OEMs, and I'm guessing you're going to be really busy, because there's another manufacturer that just really jumped into the sport market, and that is the CF Moto with their turbocharged Z-Force machines. And my friend, your friend, I'm sure, Cale Weiner, the driving force behind that stuff, that used to be with Arctic. And I'm sure you've been on some rides with him at Rally on the Rocks and stuff, is now a driving force behind CF Moto. And then you've got some other OEMs or manufacturers that are really jumping in too.
I'm really impressed with Segway. Segway is making a big push. Their villain is going to be such a badass machine. Looking forward to that too. So yeah, there's a lot of competition. It just makes again the industry better. It puts competition and makes everybody innovate more. So having these new OEMs, yeah, it's just opening up the market to other people that that want to get into the market, and just another brand to choose from. So.
For sure, and for you, it's just that much more challenge, right? It seems like every time you get a challenge, it's like, hey, let's do this. What can we build for this one that nobody's done yet? What can we do here that nobody's done yet? So that's super cool. Man, it's exciting. It's really an exciting time, and yeah, we should probably wrap this up, I guess. Sorry.
I could keep on talking with you, Lauren, but yeah,
I definitely could. But always love talking with you, Marcelo. Thanks for jumping on. Any special shout outs or anything like that?
Like, hey, I always say thank you to Super for giving me this opportunity. The whole team there, Lindsey, Don, that's incredible. And he's really making a hard push and doing an incredible job. Our sales reps, really, and then again, just, all of our customers, man, you guys, help me get to where I'm at. So just a big shout out for all you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys out in the desert.
Yeah, man. Look for Marcelo anywhere you see that assault brand leading the assault army, and just our episode starts with a quote from Evel Knievel that man Cole found, and it just hit me right in the heart, and it's been on the beginning of every episode. And this is a good description. This is a good way to find Marcelo also is, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, and enjoying life.
Dude, oh my God, that's perfect.
Right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we will be watching because I'll be watching to see if I see Marcelo and Dawn hitting the Nora 1000 this year. You know what? Your general's probably old enough you could race it in a vintage class now.
I know. I probably could.
But
yeah, no, that thing's ready to go. So I'm going to give Don a call as soon as I get off the phone with you.
You should.
Don, let's go do this.
He's up for it.
Oh yeah,
he needs to get out and
on
race.
The quad. That's what he's. Yeah, he would kill it. But maybe that's maybe you'll see us out in Nora. Maybe you'll see us down in Baja. I'm sure you'll see me in Glamis, Oregon.
Yep.
Moab, Sand Hollow. I love all events. So, and Sand Sports Show. We'll never miss that. Right.
And I'll see you in Havasu multiple times this year, I'm hoping.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. I got a place out there now, and I'm trying to make it out there as much as possible. I know we have some events out there, so we'll be out there for sure.
Yep. Awesome. Marcelo, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time. Love your story, dude. And again, thank you for being on. It's been so much fun. I look forward to seeing you soon. And again, thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank you guys. Really. Thank you. And we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon. Wow, that was fun. It's, you just forget, there's so much stuff that him and I talked about that I have forgotten. Like, I remember when we met, but I think, that year they only had mirrors and maybe some trinkets. And now, leading premium accessory manufacturer in the industry, really. So it's crazy. Just on a whim and a dream. It's pretty rad.
Oh yeah, and just talking to him for a few minutes makes you want to go to your nearest desert or trail.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
inspires you to do that as well.
Yeah, become part of the Assault Army.
I love it.
That's rad. Yeah, good times. Folks, thank you for sticking around for lap 101 of MAddOG'S After Show. Right now is where we get to hear Cole do that beautiful speech.
Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Dude, so good.
Wow.
So good. What do you got? You got anything to wrap it up?
Man, we are off to a new year. As I said at the top of the broadcast, Dakar starts and we look at it, in like 3 hours or so. So
Yeah.
That's extremely exciting. And then I will be pitting out in the desert this weekend at the District 37 Hare and Hound. So this will be coming out after that. So if I saw you there, it was good to see you.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some bangers out of that, some great shots, and a good story or a great story.
At least a story.
Yeah. So, right on. Cole, thanks so much.
Thank you.
While we're thanking people, we, of course, want to thank our great sponsors, partners. Remember, MAddOG'S After Show podcast is powered by Kicker Performance Audio. All your premium audio needs, whether it's 12-volt car, truck, boat, motorcycle, off-road, personal audio, super cool gear. Hit them up. Kicker Performance Audio, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook and YouTube every other Tuesday night on their live TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Badass Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, where it really started, Bomber Safety Eyewear. And it's morphed into this incredible, tough, floating eyewear product. So many choices that you actually have to go to their website, bombereyewear.com, and check out all the options. Keep in mind, they also do prescription and they do readers now, as well as blue light. Bombereyewear.com, on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Side note, while you're on the Bomber Eyewear website, that's bombereyewear.com, when you get to the cart, type in MAddOG20 and let them know MAddOG sent you and save a little money. That's MAddOG20 at bombereyewear.com. And of course, our new sponsor, Assault Industries. You can find them online, assaultind.com, or on Instagram at assaultutv. All your premium off-road accessories, find them at Assault Industries. Of course, the Premix podcast, Cole sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera, and also doing his MC and announcer work for your event or race. Find him on Instagram, the @ symbol ThePremixpodcast. Slide into his DM, say what's up. Kelsey Morrell Film, find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film for all your video production and still photo production needs, from pre-production, planning, through shooting, all the way to post-production. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. Of course, Hey Geeks Marketing for all your social media and website needs, and taking care of all of our logos, templates, social media templates, stuff like that. Hey Geeks Marketing. Find her on the web, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. With that, really grateful for Marcelo, grateful for the Assault brand and Dawn and the Super ATV group. Thankful for all of our partners. Welcome to 2025. God bless America. God bless our troops. God bless our first responders. God bless you, our fans. Mad Dog, out.